Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
To remove this, take a plastic prying tool, get this from 1aauto.com, just kind of push in on this side, it'll pop it out. There's a clip there that you're trying to pop it out of. Push in the tab. We're going to pop off the piece behind the mirror. You can either get your fingers in there or use a plastic trim tool. It just pops off, it's got two clips. Pop off this grab handle here. Use a plastic trim tool. Pry it up, pop it out, put that aside. Pull the door handle open. Use the plastic prying tool to get in here. Pop that out. Use the plastic prying tool to get this clip out. If you can get the middle up, that helps unlock it, but sometimes when they're flush like that, it's difficult. This one snapped, but it'll still work. I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the one that's behind the door handle. There's one in here and one deep in here. With these screws removed, the door panel is clipped around this edge, and then it's going to lift off of the door frame. So I'm going to reach under here, pull it out. Same on this side. Free. Careful, the screws were in there, so one just fell out. Put that aside. Disconnect the door handles. So that's the door lock. Pop this out. Pull it straight up. Same thing in this one, pop it out. This whole piece actually came with it. It's fine. This thing can stay in there. Disconnect the main harness from the door panel. It's clipped up here. There's a lock, it's on the other side. Pull it, push it in, pull it down. Door panel will come off. Pop this out. Pull it right off. Put that aside. To get to this door lock actuator, we have to remove the vapor barrier that's in the door. It's stuck on with this butyl tape. It's really sticky. Probably want to put gloves on because it just gets everywhere. But you can peel it away and take a razor blade and just sort of cut it. And its stuff is so sticky that if you're careful, you should be able to stick this back up and reuse the vapor barrier. Try not to pull too hard, stretch it. If you just need to access the door lock actuator or the inside of the outer door lock handle, you can just peel it down halfway. Since we're gonna also access other stuff inside this door, I'm gonna take the vapor barrier totally off. This wiring harness for the door goes through the vapor barrier. It's taped to this mount. So you could either cut it and retape it. So it's actually easier just to untape it and pull it off. Need to unplug this from here. So use the plastic trim tool to reach in there, push the lock in, and just kind of pull it out. Disconnect the speaker plug. Push the lock in, pull up. You can either cut this and re-zip tie it or try to push it out with a trim tool. Try to push it out. pop that out. Unplug the mirror connector. So now I can keep taking this off. Slide the harness up and through. Removing vapor barrier. You can reuse this, just be careful with it. Go lay it down the sticky side up. To remove the window regulator, I need to lower the window to about here so I can access the bolts. So I'm going to plug it back in. This is the main door harness here. So I plugged our harness back in and the window wouldn't go down because I had this disconnected here. There's one of the bolts there, but I want to go down a little bit further so I can access it. I'm going to access it through where the speaker is. It's going to sit just about there. Now I can unplug this. Turn the car off. Put our door panel aside. Just going to unplug this cable here. Take our speaker out of the way. Just using a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to loosen this 10mm bolt. Loosen this one. So I'm going to slide our window up and out of the way. Take our masking tape, place it over the window. Do that a couple times. Should hold it in place. There are 5 bolts holding in the window regulator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 6th one is just to hang it as you install it. So I'm going to start by loosening that one, but I'm not going to remove it because that will slide out of this hole. Now I can remove all of these ones. Break them all free. I'm using a 10mm socket. I'm going to reach in, I'm going to slide this up and off of where it's hanging and feed the window regulator out of the door. To remove the window motor from the regulator assembly, turn it over. It's 3 T25 Torx bolts. I'm going to remove those. Slide it out. Reinstall this. I'm going to slide it up. Try to get this part into here. So feeling it tight, I'm just going to stop. The motor is swapped. I'll take our window regulator. I'm going to feed it into the door opening. So this goes up here. There's a couple locating tabs. They're going to meet up in there. There's also this bolt here that it can hang on. So kind of maneuver it in here. Might have to reach in. Try not to pinch your fingers because it's kind of like a bunch of like scissor joints. this lined up, set in the tabs like that. Get the bolt started. And finally tighten the one that we used to hang it on. I'm going to hold the glass, remove the tape, lower down easily, kind of reach in, I'm going to guide it, see those red tabs? I'm going to guide those into the regulator. You can move it back and forth, line it up, reinstall the bolts. Just tighten them up. The regulator is back in the door, and the window is secure. I'll run this hook up behind the sheet metal of the door, line the speaker up in the door opening. Get the self-tapping screws lined up. These are 10mm. You can use a 10mm socket or Phillips head screwdriver. They're just self-tappers going into plastic, so you don't have to kill them. I'll plug our window motor back in. Plug our harness back into the door. Turn the ignition back on. Put the window up. So before we put the vapor barrier back on, you can plug in the harness for the door lock actuator. Now I can reinstall the vapor barrier. This black stuff that looks like silicone is actually butyl tape. It stays sticky for like a long time. So we can reuse this. And if you need to, you can get more. It's called butyl tape, but this stuff should be fine. It's very, very sticky. I'm going to feed these wires through here. Sort of let that hang a little bit. There's another opening here that our harness needs to come through and to feed all of the connectors through here. To actually make sure our window is unplugged, because that needs to come through. Feed all these through. Just gonna get this lined up in relatively the same spot. Just push it down with your fingers. You'll feel it. It's really like gummy and sticky. Definitely want to be wearing gloves or else you'll have this all over your hands for a couple days. This harness was taped here, so you can either retape it or zip tie it. I'm just going to plug it in first. Plug our speaker in. This was clipped in up here for a mirror. I'm going to run that back into the clip. Plug our mirror back in. This is for our door courtesy light. That'll stay open for now. That little hole for the screw there doesn't quite line up. I wouldn't worry about it because the screw is going to go right through the plastic. This will be our door harness plug. I'm going to get some a little zip tie or some tape to reattach that. I'm gonna use a small zip tie. It's a little easier than trying to put tape around this flange like it was originally. Tie that in place. Snip that off. So this is all set for the door panel to go back on. Make sure you don't get these cables mixed up because they can fit in both positions. The white one goes on top. Put the little lid weight in there, flip it over, and clip it into place. Take the green one. You'll kind of know because one is longer than the other. They kind of fit better in their respective spots. So put the little lid weight over there, just like the top one. Snap it into place. So one pulls the door handle, one locks and unlocks the doors. We're ready for the door trim panel. So the top of this has some metal clips. They will slide onto the thin part of the sheet metal here. There is a locating pin here, and then you've got the clips all the way around and the screws that'll hold it on together. Before we do that, we need to feed this into here. I'm just gonna get it started. Our courtesy light, there's an opening in the bottom of the door panel for it. Just feed that through. It's a little tricky to install this. Get that started. Take your door harness. Make sure, don't forget to plug that in or else nothing's gonna work. It'll snap into place. So we'll get this lined up. It's got a couple pins on the top and the bottom. And those are going to push into these tabs. Now we can take the door panel and kind of push it up towards the window. Push it up towards the window and then down over. Sometimes you got to push in on it. Just push down, just like that. I can see that the screw holes are lining up. I've got that where I want it. I'm just going to push in. It's going to capture all the clips. Now I can reinstall the screws and install this small screw here behind the door handle. Take our little trim piece, take all the clips, pull this door handle out. I'm going to get this front one captured first. Push that into place. There's two large self-tapping screws. One's going to go on the top, and one's going to go on the bottom here. This door pull handle. Start with the top one. With the two screws installed, we can clip this back into place. Install our little triangle piece that goes near the mirror. These two clips are here. Push right into place. There's this little clip here. This one kind of broke, but we push it in there. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. It doesn't do too much. The rest of the door panel is secure. Reinstall the courtesy light. Plug it back in. Push that up into place. Door panel is reinstalled.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.